All right, good day, everybody. This is Dennis Wilborn. We're ready to rock and roll with On the Radar for our live update. Yeah, I'm sitting there watching to see if it's going to come on. I think I've solved the issues with my bandwidth and all that kind of stuff, and so should be popping on here shortly. But let's just jump right into it. We're not going to, basically waste anybody's time. Let's jump into today's session. One of the things I want to talk to you about today is we're going to basically be taking a look at what? We're going to be taking a look at the indexes. The index continued to power higher today. Very, very interesting. It seems as if everything is lined up to basically continue this rally. The thing that I'm looking at basically is, well, it's continuing to rally, but is will it continue to basically, push higher? It's got to have a pullback at some point. So far, the pullbacks have been very short and shallow. At the same time, though, we want to keep in mind that the last time we pulled back, we did hit a lower moving average, and therefore the jackhammer effect may still be in effect. I want to jump right in and take a look at the S&P. The S&P, as you can see, we had a really strong pullback into the 50-day moving average. We broke, through the 8 to 20. However, as we covered yesterday, the moving averages never did actually cross. And when that happens, that basically indicates that the moving averages stayed in a uptrend or favored the bullish move. And sure enough, we're going to rally back up into resistance. Today's session actually broke out slightly above resistance, as you can see right there. But one of the things that I always like to take a look at also is, where might things go? I can extend let me extend that channel line out. And oftentimes I utilize Fibonacci's to do that. So if I grab my Fibonacci's from this low high, this was the last major swing high to low, and I just click in here, pull down, and it's kind of interesting that, look at that, we had just hit and you can kind of walk your way up there. Here's the 1272. We came into resistance, pulled back, popped up, broke through, went on up, pulled back, broke through. And that's one thing, if you're trying to utilize the Fibonacci's for a trading system, or our tip today is going to be talking about confluence and convergence of close. But if you're using it for that, where it basically is in the same area of a moving average or a past level of support resistance, it basically adds evidence to the strength of your projection that you're going to be able to take a trade on this. And we see prices pushed on up. They hit the 200% extension. In other words, that's actually from the breakout. That's a 100% move. From that move down, broke out, and now it reached 100%. And as you can see, it hit 100%, and then also broke out through it. So I'll be looking for a couple of different things here with the S&P. Is I want to see how much of an influence the negative divergence is going to have over here. And also, we are moving up. However, volume, as you see here, is dropping. And so that's something to keep in mind. Sometimes when price action moves higher on lower or decreasing volume, that is a clue that price action may be getting ready to turn around in the near future. However, price action can also push a lot higher into the, even though we have the negative divergence and all that kind of stuff, it can push higher. So let's take a look at the Qs. What's going on with the Qs? I'm just keeping an eye on to see, if anybody does join us, we will look at one of your stocks if you would prefer. And so now, again, here on I'm going to blow this up a little bit, go in a little bit, zoom in a little bit. So we had a hanging man over here. The high from that hanging man is up at 330.32. Today's high was at 330.33. So that hanging man there is void. Even though it was voided only by a penny, you still have to be counted as being voided. And therefore, what would I expect? We could expect further move up. Look for a pullback, back into the moving averages. The next pullback, okay, we do have a similar type picture here. Negative divergence, pushing to new highs on the TSI, and all that means is basically the momentum is basically lagging the move to the upside. Oftentimes that can be, reflective of, and we're getting the same thing here, negative divergence. We don't have a huge move down yet, but this, as you can see, let me blow this up on the weekly chart. Now that we have taken out the high from last week, that bearish engulfing from last week, that bearish engulfing pattern is voided. So it is no longer a reversal candle. Now we have to be aware that sellers did come in around this level and push things back. We have to be aware of that, but we just have to interpret it properly. And so we'll wait till the end of the week, which is tomorrow, to see how things turn out. Right now we are in fact pushing up higher, and go back to the daily. As you can see, lower volume on this push to newer, higher levels. IWM, maybe. IWM, there we go. So as we're waiting for IWM to show up, one of the things I found out yesterday, and I'm going to be doing this continuously going forward, so that you'll be aware, is I'm going to do what they call a premiere on YouTube of this video, and I will be there live to answer any questions you may have about what's going on with the markets, some of the things I'm trading. If you want to ask questions just related to the video, that's fine, but I'll be there live to support you. As we can see, we're getting a breakout back above highs on IWM. Now it's a matter of, well, how does all this fit together? We will, there's a couple of ways of projecting where this could go. One of them is to take a high, low, and then project it up with a Fibonacci. Let me go over to the weekly chart and see where those fibs actually project out to. The weekly chart, as you can see, they project up to the 1272 is at 221. The 168 is up at 225. And then, of course, if it gets a complete 100% of that, it'd be up at 230.98. So nice clean pattern. We still have to be aware that while we are breaking out to higher highs, that this was a more significant pullback than what we've experienced earlier. Got a little bit deeper, more towards the 34. At the same time, though, there's nothing here that says, other than the negative divergences, the lower volume, just it says be careful, be cautious. Now, if tomorrow, for whatever reason, we come in and this is, basically is a breakout, fake out, and pulls back down, if it stops at the 786 and rebounds, that would be an excellent place to look at perhaps jumping on a trade. The last two pullbacks, this is on a daily basis, have favored the 8. The 20 is still intact and moving up. And so what I'm looking for IWM is just, to continue on with the uptrend and with the projection going forward. So that's what we've got for the indexes. A couple of stocks that I'm looking at. Hey, Phil, how you doing? It looks like we are getting... no, it looks like it's okay. I'm just watching my recording to make sure that it's properly not getting bogged down with streaming issues. It may get hung up on there on the Instagram. But as I said earlier, once I load this and save it and load it onto YouTube, I will do a premiere later this afternoon. So if you're follow us on Market Tech Talk on the YouTube channel, you'll be able to watch the premiere. And I'll be there live to answer any questions you may have about the markets, about any trades, that kind of stuff. I will not be able to show any charts, and so, but I can, answer anecdotal type questions. So IWM looking very good. So let's take a look at a couple of stocks that I'm looking at. We talked a little bit yesterday about Boeing. I still like Boeing. And Boeing may work out for us very well for the long term. I still like Boeing. Where do I like it at, though? That's where the question comes in, is now that we've broken out, what we can, typically will count on happening is Boeing will pull back towards this trend line was broken to the upside. Oftentimes what will happen, price action will pull back to the trend line, and then it'll do the old proverbial kiss the trend line goodbye and then go into a big rally mode. I like the 8. I like basically the 50 and the 20. Those are about to, those are moving up to the upside. If the 8 comes screaming up and crosses through that, then it will give us another indication that Boeing could be setting up for some really nice moves up to the upside. We'll just, look to trade that. But right now, we just need a little bit of a pullback, and that's where I'd be looking at jumping on a trade, because there's no reason to jump on a trade if Boeing is, gapping away and running. Wait for a setup. That basically is the name of the game when you're doing swing trades. So that's Boeing. Another one, if you are one of our Autopilot top 5 members, you basically... And you put in the order that we not recommended, but that to parallel trade with us, you basically probably got into this trade on PLMR today. PLMR had, and now let me show you what PLMR was doing for us, is basically from this move from here down, that was a swing high. It took out the swing high a little bit earlier this week. Actually, it took it out on Monday. It broke above it. What I did was I went in and I modified the order on PLMR, and I sent that out and let people know that's what I was doing, that if price action pulled back into this breakout area at 103, and I put in an order to buy some at 103, about 30, 103.35, and that order was filled. Now, this is just classical technical analysis. One of the things, though, I will let you know is that while that level of what was resistance turned into support, it worked properly. However, one of the things that is of concern to me that I will be watching is the TSI wound up crossing down to the downside today. And so it may, in fact, break loose and drop. And so that's why I have a stop loss really close at about $99 and keep it below 5%. And also, the selling volume also increased fairly well. However, the first part of the trade, triggering in, and that's one thing nice about the autopilot trading system. I send out the pre-flight checklist on Saturday and Sunday, and it shows exactly the areas where I'm going to trigger into a trade and the profit targets and the stop losses all within the same, all within this spreadsheet, which I call the pre-flight checklist. And so if you want to find more about autopilot trading, we are having a free webinar, and it's called How to Leverage Non-Monetary Assets, your time, other people's time, your knowledge, your education, other people's education, how to leverage those non-monetary assets to build wealth quickly. And that's going to be going on at 12:30 Pacific time on Saturday. If you want an invite to that, just send me an email or send me a DM, and we'll make sure that you get an invite to that webinar. We'd be really glad, and also give you an opportunity to join up at least for the free service with active trend trading. So that's what we're looking at with PLMR. And so again, I'm watching it. You know, it could continue to break down and go back down here and test at the $99 and almost $100 level. That's where it broke out of on Monday, as you see. However, if it's a traditional technical, it should hold pretty, if it was a strong move, should hold pretty close to that 103 level. And that's where we put in the order. So that basically, I think, tip for today. Basically, I want to talk to you about, basically, just real quick, convergence and confluence. Convergence of clues is when you have, you know, clues like price action, moving averages, support, resistance, all converging at the same spot, and they wind up supporting each other. So you can see, there's the convergence. One of the things that we did earlier with our autopilot leverage ETFs, and I'll show you this really quick. This was right here, in between that candle there and that candle there, we basically sent out our pre-flight checklist for the autopilot leverage ETF, and I said, okay, if TQQ pulls back too, I said if it pulls back actually to in between the 20 and the 34 at 72.75, I want to be in the trade. So what happened was, and I'll just show it to you, I sent out the email with the information there, and so I entered the order, my orders right there, my orders to get in and my orders to get out. Then Monday happened, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday. I missed, it missed it by 25 cents on that day there. On Friday, it came all the way down, hit my order trigger, got me into the trade. Kept, our stop loss we put in was right down here, right below the 87 level. It bounced just before that and then took off. And so then, basically, we took off we had a target to get out at between 97 or 95, so we took off some of the profit there because we had this convergence of clues. This is where the clues converged, and the confluence, the influence that these clues had on it gave us our springboard for the rest of this move. Where are the prices at today? We got out at between 95 and 97. Prices on TQQ, that was up at 104. No reason to sell that final half of the position yet. And as you can see, and so in a very short period of time, we've been, we are now up, pushing 11% on that trade. And so that's one of the reasons why knowing how to trade these leverage ETFs, utilizing the autopilot system, can really be a benefit to you. So anyway, that's all we've got today, guys. I will get this video up on, we'll get it up on both YouTube, and I will post it to IGTV. And again, if you subscribe to us at Market Tech Talk on the YouTube channel, you'll get a notification because I will do a premiere to answer any questions you may have about this video. And so, Grandmommy, welcome, and I hope to see you again perhaps next week because we'll do this video Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday every week starting at 1 o'clock Pacific time or about 1:05 Pacific time just after the market closes. So until next week, or you can join us tomorrow also for how to make money trading stocks, and the information on that is on the YouTube channel. Until later, aloha, God bless everybody, have a great rest of your day. See ya.